Thanks for watching the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk cross-country. Marywood University Pacers coach Kevin Borrelli join us. And Kevin, talk about your year this year with the men and women at Marywood.
Well, the women are off to a fantastic start, not only on an individual basis for almost all of them, but as a team. They're running extremely strong to start the season off. We were just down at Lock Haven maybe a week or two ago, and they won the entire invite, and which was great because they were racing against some Division II schools, and it was neat to see little Division III Marywood, be able to step up and run with some of the bigger schools in the state. So it was a really cool experience. But on a personal level, a lot of them, set a lot of PRs, school records, and top, running some very, very fast times in school history even. So it was a really neat day.
We're talking with Kevin Borrelli here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. You talk about some of those records that fall for the women. Talk about how eye-popping that is with what they're able to accomplish.
Well, it's neat. It's something I take a lot of pride in because I researched all the records myself when I first got there. I made the record book, sort of say. There wasn't very good record keeping beforehand, and a lot of the names that popped up were some local names like Stacy Muschel, and who I grew up running with her, and so I know what she was totally capable of. She was a national qualifier. And then to see some of the girls that are coming through, in the current program, to be able to take some of those times down, and quite significantly, I think they lowered the record by almost close to 20 seconds now. So just to see what they're capable of doing, it really brings a lot of pride to me to know what type of runner they're becoming. And even over not only the front runners up front, but even all the way back to my 7th, 8th, 9th runner. They're setting PRs, and they're actually finishing in times that are in the top 50 ever run by a Marywood runner. So, they're my 7th runner, and she's still putting up times that, not many have ever done through the program before them. So I take a lot of pride in it.
Well, they're working hard, that's for sure, at Marywood University. Kevin, the program that you're giving these young ladies and obviously the guys at Marywood, you see improvements. And you mentioned some of those 7th, 8th, 9th runners. Everybody seems to be motivated when you talk to them, and they're excited about just keep improving. And this team is showing through and through year after year that there's big strides being made.
Yeah, on the guy side, like you mentioned, the record fell over there too. Eric Opuma, he's a junior right now. He actually owns I think 4 of the top 5 times ever run by a Marywood runner. His first 8K of the year came out of the gates and lowered his PR by a couple seconds. Felt pretty good doing it, and he thinks there's a little bit more in the tank. So it's interesting to see how far he could take it. On the guys' side, it's a little bit rougher because we're a little bit weaker in the numbers, but the guys that are there are working hard, and they're all coming back next year. They're all either juniors or freshmen. So, there's a lot of progress to be made with them. Where on the women's side, this group of young ladies that I've been coaching for the past 4 years are finally seniors, and we're starting to see all the fruits of their labor throughout not just this year, but throughout the cumulative effect through the 4 years that I've been coaching with them.
We're talking with Kevin Borrelli here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. And Kevin is the head coach at Marywood University. Kevin, let's talk about how this year will shape up the month of October. Tell us some of the big events that are going on for both the guys and the gals.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of what I preach to them. The first couple of races of the year, the first race of the year, we actually wore our training shoes. We didn't wear spikes. The second one, we finally laced up the spikes, but we sat a couple people out, that were nursing some injuries. And the third race we had was at Lock Haven, and that was a good tune-up to see, that was our actual first, 6K for the women, which is like the regional distance, the national distance that they run, and 8K for the men. So it was the first time we went the full distance for the normal college racing. But still, even that was a tune-up. But now when we hit October, we really we're kicking it into full gear as far as the race is concerned. They're a lot bigger, and they're quite a bit more important too. We'll be down at Paul Short, the Paul Short Invitational, with I think they actually have almost 150 teams there this year, split across 3 races. And our women will hopefully be in the top 10 of the second race, and the men hopefully in the top 20 of the third race. So it's looking pretty good for them heading into this weekend at Paul Short, and then we take a week off, and then we're at Princeton the following week to finish up October before we hit our championship season.
Marywood University Pacers cross-country coach Kevin Borrelli joining us here on the John Mendola Show. Kevin, what do you think it is about your training that helps these student athletes at Marywood excel so quickly and to be where they're at right now? Obviously, other than buying into the program, they got to go out and they got to work, which is probably a little bit different in the regards to the training methods from high school to college.
Yeah, they definitely notice some difference, and that's where if they stick with it, they really start to see the progression like their sophomore, junior, senior year. The freshman year, it's tough to come in and really and be super successful, especially on the men, because the men are going typically from a 5K to an 8K. So they're almost doubling their distance, and that could be a little bit overwhelming at times, as far as the race is concerned. So if they stick with it, they definitely start to see a lot of progression like going into their sophomore year. But just staying motivated and staying I always try to incorporate something new, a little bit different, whether it's a workout, or a run, or even something that we do off the track, like maybe lifting program or some type of cross training. And just try to keep it new and fresh for them all the time, so that way it gives them something to look forward to coming to. It's not just your typical run every day.
Kevin, when the season winds down for Marywood University, what do you expect for some of these girls to accomplish, or even a guy or two when the season's all said and done? I mean, how far can you go? Is this a year where you see somebody go even further?
Yeah, well, last year we sent one girl to nationals. Beth Schwab had an amazing regional race, and in my eyes, she worked really hard for it, and it all came together on the right day for her. But this year, I honestly see the team, having a shot at it. Right now, we're ranked 31st in the nation. It's our highest national ranking by any Marywood program in any sport. So we're very, very happy with that. But we're not satisfied by any means. I think they could do better. I know there's more in them. That was only their first 8K, and first 6K for them. So I think that there's a lot of upside to what potentially could come. But again, it has to be the right day. And there's a lot of things. When you're talking about a race, there's a lot of little things. We don't get a timeout. Like if your calf starts hurting, or you get a little tired, or you get a little thirsty, we can't call a timeout for you. Like if you get a cold or something like that, there's a lot of things that could happen along the course of the journey that could really set you back. So I just preach to them a lot about do all the little things to make sure you're keeping yourself healthy, and let me take care of the training part and the workouts, and we'll get there.
Mental toughness, definitely one of the things that got you through your high school and, of course, your college career. And, hey, you run right now, and I know in a few weeks the Steamtown Marathon is coming up. You decided to do that again? Yeah,
I sat out last year. I was doing the Ryan's Run, and I was hoping to do the New York City Marathon, but with the hurricane that came through, they ended up canceling it. So actually last year was the first year in quite some time that I didn't do a marathon. So I'm looking forward to getting back to Steamtown, the hometown marathon. I definitely feel more comfortable here than I do anywhere else. I get a lot of local crowd support throughout the race that I'm very grateful for. It's kind of hard for me to do bad here. So it's nice to have everybody out, the team, family, friends, just people that I never even met before, just cheering me on. They see me running through the neighborhood. It is very nice, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity to represent the area coming up in not even 2 weeks. So it's winding down pretty quick.
Kevin Borrelli from the Marywood Cross Country Program. Again, he's the head coach for the women and the men. They're doing some great things this year. And as he mentioned, ranked 31 in the nation, the highest ranking ever by any sports team at Marywood University. Kevin, I know that you're shooting for the top 25 and maybe then some. And I wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. And maybe we could check back with you in November.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hopefully we'll be calling you from Indiana.
All right, that's Kevin Borrelli from Marywood University here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.